There's many ways you can get into double unders. If somebody's being kind of passive here and they're looking for spider guards, so if people are really intent on spider, they'll be really open with their legs, and sometimes they'll even have their hands like here. They'll have their hands like here trying to grab. So the second you try and grab, they pull you into spider guard. It can actually be quite effective and quite annoying if they're really flexible guard. And it's like when they fold in half, there's not really anywhere you can go. If you're trying to go this way, they just kind of go upside down and then meet you. So one thing you can do is if you're here, if you just get really low and you pop here, you can go here, right? When you're under, we talked about this, the shoulders have to be under. If you're just biceps, you're not going to have an effective double under, because if you're here, you're going to be using your biceps like you're trying to curl him. And if he can actually just clamp down and then even widen his legs to get heavy, he can actually choke me and stuff here, right? I don't want to stay here. I want my neck to be hidden, and I want my shoulders to be down when I'm doing double under, just like this. So I'm either grabbing here, and I'm sliding him up onto my lap, or I'm grabbing here once he's on my lap. But this helps shut down the hips. So we looked at walking our way up. So we don't like to extend too much. We don't want to just do one big, huge reach. So we climb, then we walk. Now from here, especially if the person's flexible, we need to make sure that this other hand comes through to the back, and we start leaning in as we lift. I can lift my opposite side if I want of my feet, so I'm passing to my right, I can lift my left, and I'm going to lean into him, help him over, and put him down. Okay, I'm being a little bit nicer today just because we have a fair bit of weight difference. I don't want to crush him. My goal is not to get my forearm across his neck to crush his neck. It's just to anchor him and kind of stake him to the ground. That's part of the reason I'm grabbing this one across and I'm passing this way. I wouldn't like to do it the other way, because if I'm like this, there's nothing really, that shoulder can move too much. I want him to be flat with his upper body. I want the lower body to be as folded as I can, and then I start to pass. Often people do this and they kind of get excited, they start stacking and kind of throw the leg like this. But that gives him something to push back off of, and he's just going to pull me back in. And if he catches me and I'm being sloppy and I'm like this, and I throw him looking for your leg, and I go like this and he grabs my arm and pulls, now I'm going to be in worse, much worse position. So we don't want to throw the legs. The only time we really throw the legs is if we're toreandoing, and we know that we're really throwing them to the right position. The double unders, we're going to be here, and ideally sliding him onto my lap. That's what makes him kind of, his hip movement rendered somewhat useless. Okay. Sometimes you will find that you can't really feel in control here. There can be a number of reasons. Sometimes this person might just be a lot bigger than you. Sometimes they have really long legs and they're really flexible, and you feel like this is not controlling the hip. Especially if they're really long and they're really short. You might feel that. So when you get here and you pull them up on your lap, if you feel like you're losing control, you can switch down to the belt. Don't be in the front of the belt or even the side, you want to be under. That's going to give you the power to lift them over. The more behind their belt, the more when you lift, you're going to have to use less power. Because you're not like lifting and holding them. You're just doing essentially a deadlift that will make them do a backward somersault. Okay? So we're here, we did our one, we went here. Let's say I tried to get there, he was moving a lot, and maybe he had a really wide, flexible guard. So I feel like I'm losing a bit of power. But if I stay low and I get here, now when I start to lift them, one thump onto my lap. Now when I start to lean forward, I feel like it's tough, because again, he's flexible, he's moving a lot. So instead, I'm gonna step, I'm gonna deadlift, and he's gonna backward somersault. And I force him to turtle this way. I want to get my left hip to here as quick as I can. So either I'm just doing a quick back step here right away, I'm putting weight on him. I can start attacking with this near side seatbelt. Or if I flip them and he lands here, I can throw this leg over and grab here and start attacking this way. Okay. Depends how fancy you want to be or how conservative. Either of those are valid. The first one's a little bit more high percentage and relies less on what they're doing. Okay, so we're gonna practice the lift. Shouldn't be hard to lift the person. But what I don't want to see, because it should be a very safe move, is don't lift if you feel like you're not on balance. Anytime I've ever seen, like in tournaments or anything, somebody hurt their opponent doing something like this, it was because they lifted and the bottom person was trying not to be lifted. So the bottom person was trying to kick out really hard and flatten, and the lifting person was losing balance and trying to lift anyway. So then you get like a reverse scorpion kind of thing on their neck. If you're gonna get lifted like this and you know it's too late to do your conventional re-guarding, which is kicking down on the leg, trying to weave in, trying to fight the arm, just go with the somersault. It's much better to get forced into a somersault and wrestle into the person than it is to try and fight it and get, dropped on your head. So again, you get low, you get here. As long as you slide once from here, once here, you should be able to do it. You want to stay in tight, again, it's like this. Imagine he's got a handle like a barbell, and I'm here, and I'm trying to flip the weight over. It shouldn't be too hard because most of his weight is from here into his legs, right? Everybody's, organs, torso, legs, hips is gonna be the heaviest part. So when I go up like this, if I'm like tipping and falling, don't lift. But if I'm here and I feel like I can deadlift it, I'm deadlifting slightly off to the side. Almost like I'm trying to like put his hips that way. And that way I know that his head's gonna pop up nice and safe here. And I drop right in with weight and a nice heavy seat belt. Okay?
You can just essentially deadlift and make them flip over and they'll generally concede. So go ahead.
I like the belt grip too for getting him onto my lap. Because I find trying to get him onto my lap from here, I just feel really weak. So I grab the belt and lift here.